What's up, everyone? It's Tweek or Gavin.
What up? What up? It's Charles or Chuck.
Thank God Marcus wasn't here for that one. His head was spun around. He wouldn't have been ready. I wasn't ready for it. What's up, everyone? It's Hazmatt, and we got a very special guest today. Summit hopeful, of course. One of the best, I would say the best wolf in the world. What up, Jude? What up, Jakal? What's happening?
Hello, everybody. Hi.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
What's up?
Speaking of Summit, I think we're going to talk about Summit a little bit today. Maybe a little Level Up Expo.
Yeah.
Into the pod. Talk about who we want to see at Summit, aka Jude, of course. And talk about, what else is going on. How's everyone doing? We do a little around the horn here. Jude, how are you doing? You're our guest. We'll talk to you first. How you doing?
I'm doing good. We got a lot of things coming up, obviously, with Summit campaigning and everything, and a few majors on the horizon. So just sort of getting ready for what's to come.
Busy time. Gavin, what's up?
I'm going to Level Up Expo this weekend, and I've been practicing really hard, kind of in a different way. And I've also been balancing 3 characters, which is usually more than what I'm used to. But I'm feeling good about it. I feel like I have a lot of game plans. I have a lot of game plans for when I'm actually at the tournament. I've been streaming and practicing and just really like working hard, but in a slightly different way. So I'm feeling good, but I'm also a little nervous because of, I'm putting so much effort into slightly different things, and playing Wario sometimes ends up hurting me.
It always ends up hurting you.
Yeah.
But that winter skin is too sick.
Oh yeah, the Wario Man skins too.
Yeah, true. Chuck, what's going on, man? How you been?
Good. I'm also preparing for Level Up this weekend. Looks like it's going to be a really fun tournament in terms of how stacked it is. I went to Level Up Expo last year, and it definitely wasn't as stacked. I believe Grand Finals was Sen versus Sonics, and that was when Sonics was still kind of like on the come up. I think Sonics will be making a return as well. So we have in terms of the top 3 seeds off the top of my head, we have Tweek, Light, Sonics, not in any specific order or whatnot, but yeah, I mean, just those top 3 seeds are already pretty insane, right? And then also on top of that, a lot of the West Coast talent like comes out as well, like Send, etc. Like California, Void will be going out as well. Mars will be going.
Nice.
Yeah,
Void's
so
competing, right? He's not just chilling.
Void
is Cosmos going? I feel like Cosmos is going.
Cosmos is going, yes.
There's no surprise multiverses expo. We're gonna see Void playing Sheik, right? Like this is happening.
Yeah. Void will be competing with Sheik. He was working a lot on Joker. He actually wanted to go a lot of Joker at Genesis, and he just got a Sheik bracket. And he was like, "When does that happen? When do I get a Sheik bracket?" But he ended up getting a Sheik bracket at Genesis.
And the hell does that mean? Sheik's a great character. What the hell is he talking about?
Well, like characters that he would rather go Sheik over Joker. Like I think we all can agree that Joker's better than Sheik, right?
Yeah.
No, I've been seeing.
There was a
jab down tilt all week. What the hell?
Nah.
Jab down tilt loop.
Yeah. I mean, he's been labbing
20
out
now.
Yeah, he's been labbing out a bunch of new jab confirms. It's really, really strong. The concept is you have a lot of frame advantage after hitting. There's 3 different hitboxes of jab 1. So there's a close-up hitbox. If you hit someone airborne, then you have a good amount of frame advantage, and it also positions them to get followed up by tipper down tilt. It's like a frame 1 or 2 link, but the thing about making it a frame 1 or 2 link is if he's not confident in going for the down tilt, he can just go for dash grab, and you can't spot dodge. Or actually, I think you can spot dodge, but you can spot dodge, but it becomes a mix up, right? Where it's like, are you confident that he's going to go for the down tilt? Because if that's the case, you hold shield. But if not, then you know what I mean. So. Because even if you go for a spot dodge, you're not going to spot dodge the down tilt because it has 2 frames of startup, right? You're actually making the down tilt easier for him to confirm into if you buffer spot dodge. So it's like if perfectly executed, it's guaranteed. And even if not perfectly executed, it's still a good RPS situation after jab 1. And you set up the jab 1 after drag down up air. So you get a free airborne jab 1 after the drag down up air. And obviously Sheik has a ton of stuff to set up into the drag down up air. And then when you down tilt's like way better than forward tilt in terms of just like when you get tipper down tilt, you can still DI out, but there's still percentages where Sheik can connect a rising up air into a drag down up air, even if you DI out on tipper down tilt. So that's the basis of the jab loops that Void has been implementing, and my goodness, you can go on his Twitter. There's so many clips of him just jamming so many different characters.
Yeah.
It's funny. He said like the heavies it's harder to do that on the heavies. It's really weird. So it's funny because some people will be like, oh, you're doing it on Charizard or whatever. He's like, well, actually, it's harder to do on Charizard and stuff like that.
That's rough because Sheik barely has any combos on heavies anyway, so it sucks.
Yeah, that's really
tough to
unfortunate.
do. Yeah.
It's probably because like they take less hits done from like the drag down, so it just makes it tighter.
Yep.
Nice, dude. I was gonna say too. So all three of you are going to Level Up Expo, which is super dope. I haven't had tournament FOMO in a minute, but it's been hitting me pretty hard this week with Level Up, especially because it's in Vegas, which is obviously a good time. But I also have family in Vegas, so I'm really bummed I'm not going. But I'm gonna have a good time watching from home. So I don't know if brackets are out or anything, but is there anything you guys are looking forward to? Especially Jude, what are you looking forward to in Level Up Expo?
I mean, so it's two things. One, like I did fine at Genesis, but like it's still kind of lukewarm, so I kind of want to bounce back from that a little bit. And then also Collision is coming up in like a few weeks afterwards, so I just want to make sure I'm as ready as possible for that. So I just want to make sure I'm practicing well throughout the weekend and hopefully, obviously, compete at a high level. So that's the main thing. I'm thinking about going into it.
First thing, Zachary and I are gonna have to stand strong. Sheik is the best. No, I'm just kidding.
You picking a pit? What the heck?
Okay,
This.
My pit is very good. I promise. Y'all will never see it, but y'all have to trust me. My pit is very solid. Okay,
when I was first playing Joker, we played like 3M friendly in Joker vs Pit, and he kept Orbitars like just spamming it all the time, and I couldn't hit him, and I lost. And I'm like, I'm never playing this character again.
See, I told you.
Broken. Dude, my whole YouTube feed was just Pit with like Craigasm or like this is crazy. Like Pit. Is this character underrated? No, obviously.
Dude, he down tilt up aired, and I'm like, this looks like something that you've been doing for like throughout multiple Smash games. Like Diddy Kong down tilt up Smash.
That's true.
I did want to talk about the fact that Jude's going to Level Up Expo. What's funny about seeing Jakal at major events is he's like world-class player, world-class ranked, best wolf in the world. But I saw him at Genesis a few weeks ago, and I'm like, oh, my friend Jude is here. Like, it's like, it shouldn't be a surprise to see Jude competing at across all the different tournaments, but he just doesn't get to go to as much as he would like to, obviously. So I'm really, really happy you're going to Level Up Expo. And I also feel like that should transition into the whole Summit campaign because I feel like it'd be such a great opportunity for you to really get the ball rolling. And like you said, like you want to practice, you want to travel, you want to compete. And I feel like, it would be such a perfect experience for you. And it's funny because you're ranked so high. And like I said, I'll see you at a tournament. I'm like, oh snap, my friend from New Jersey's here, even though he's like a world-class competitor. Like I said, oh thanks.
Yeah. It's just because I was like landlocked on the East Coast for so long, so it was just basically the only people that knew were people that paid attention to Platinum Star Smash and my friends.
Yeah, you were like pretty limited to East Coast stuff and maybe even a smaller portion.
Which is not such a bad place to be.
No.
You know what I mean?
True.
But you do eventually
nowadays
no. Yeah. And
dude,
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and in general, Jakal, it's I think this obviously the podcast and bring you on today. I think it's a great opportunity for you to share some of your experiences for people who don't really know a ton about you aside from maybe this guy is a nasty wolf, like he's a highly ranked player and stuff. Why don't you tell us a little bit, like what are your favorite tournament results or your favorite W's? Like tell us a little bit about your journey so far.
Your breakout.
Why people should vote for you for Summit. And I easily the sell for me is that you got like the fucking sickest wolf of all time. Like you and Charlie, like right there for me. You know what I'm saying? Like one of the sickest wolves of all time. You also play a very, very good neutral. Like there's so much to break down in your gameplay when you're playing kind of this back and forth neutral. So why don't you break it down for us and tell us your favorite stuff about your gameplay and some of your favorite W's you've gotten over time in Ultimate. So
if I want to start with like my gameplay and like my mindset about playing and everything like that, it tends to be it's a very neutral focus, especially until recently. My mindset going into tournaments is like I wanted to keep things as simple on my hands as possible because I never had too much like confidence in my execution. So I decided that the main way I was going to try to build a gap between me and other players was just having a better neutral than them. And then obviously, like at this point, one, with the meta advancing, you sort of need to start optimizing, and two, like I've been playing for long enough that it's not really a concern anymore. But I think that sort of like really like sticking to the books, like making sure that I'm like laying the foundation really well as time goes on. I think it helped me, especially like the more I travel, the more I compete against like weird players or weird matchups. I think that has paid off for me and very well. But as far as my results, I'd say like the ultimate tournament where people probably found out about me the most was SmashCon Fall Fest, because in Ultimate I had no top eights. I had like a few nines here and there, but they were, one, I was playing all off stream because I was starting losers pretty early, and two, I was still like, it was like at glitch or like some East Coast stuff. But that was where like I beat the Buzz for the first time in my like I've been playing the Buzz for 5 years and I didn't take a set until then. And then I beat Light, who I had beaten as soon as quarantine was over at it was this like tri-state / East Coast Invitational called Momentous. I beat him there, but it was like the first tournament back, like it was whatever. That was the first time I beat him where I feel like he was really playing like in form. I mean, he won the tournament, so
yeah.
And also he was just like a huge bracket demon for me in Smash 4 and early Ultimate. Like I was down probably like 9 or 10 sets to him.
Yeah, DeBuzz and Light are two people you're familiar with for sure.
Yeah. And then after that, like I'd say the one I'm definitely most proud of is Double Down last year. It was my first top 8 once PGR started back up, or like ult rank, everything. But the main thing is I lost really early to T3 Dom, and then I won I think like 6 or 7 sets and losers to beat like Riddles, Nico the Cloud from Texas, Bloom Forever, Paulo Kage, like right as he was starting to come up really hard as well. And then so yeah, like just getting top 8 there, taking the Buzz to game 5, all of that really gave me confidence going forward, especially throughout the rest of the year, where I think performed very well. I top 8'd a lot of the majors I attended and ended up I'm 25th on ult rank, I think. So yeah, I feel like it just like kicked off a lot of things for me.
One thing that I think is funny about you is because a lot of people would put you in that same class as like Apollo Kage, like new rising kind of ultimate stars. Like, bro, that is not fucking true. Like, if you remember Smash 4, this guy top 8'd Shine. You were like one of the few non-DLC players to top 8 Shine in the last Smash 4 event at Shine, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
so I think
it was like one of the last 3 Smash 4 events in general. It was like that. I think MomoCon that year, and then I think there was a DreamHack. But yeah, I top 8 of that tournament, beating like Leo and Void. And that was like when I was completely unknown before that. I'm like maybe like 200 followers on Twitter.
Right?
But yeah, because I just like went to New Jersey locals and just grinded at home.
Yeah, it's a grind right there, man. Paid off.
Yeah, Sonic main in Smash 4, but switched over.
Charles, we're trying to get people to vote for him. Don't bring that up. That's the W's. Come on.
I was
Leo,
cool. Go back and watch. That was cool.
Green Sonic, right?
Yeah, Sonic was cool in Smash 4. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah. For the old kids.
He wasn't, but I was.
Yeah. All the older kids don't know. They don't know.
Sorry, you play Wolf now. It's all good.
Show me back though, downering Leo.
Production, do it. Show the spikes. Spikes are cool.
Yeah, spikes are cool.
Meteor Smash.
I guess I kind of wanted to mention, just kind of similar to you talking about some of the tournaments you went to that were really good experiences for you, but at the same time you're also playing people you've played a million times. Like I feel like the more you get out there and go to tournaments that, like, especially like West Coast type stuff would be probably the easiest example. That experience could accelerate your growth so much because you're not playing Light or DeBuzz for the 100th time, or you're not playing with me for the 100th time.
Yeah, I mean, there's like multiple top players. I've never played Leo, never played Cola. Yeah. I've played Mudace. I've one tournament set within like it was the Let's Play Big Moves right before quarantine. Just like a lot of like 0 set counts, so like only played once like in 2019.
Yeah,
so that would be exciting. And also just like I feel like I'm somebody that people will see at tournaments a lot, but I haven't been streaming that often, and then people just don't know really who I am at all. So I feel like being able to like show my personality a little bit and interact in like the Summit style, like on the couch and everything, could be a really cool experience for me, and I think people would enjoy it.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. I would be very happy to see you there, of course, especially because I feel like, you know, a lot of the top players you're more experienced with and you practice with or whatever, like, you know, we know you better and we know your gameplay better than most people too. And I feel like there's like two sides. There's the people that just, you know you're really good and that's about it. And then there's the people that you know you extensively and like, you know, we can vouch for you. And it would be cool that you could, if you could get an experience at Summit or whatever. But yeah, like I would label you and I as practice partners. How long would you say actually?
Have we been playing?
Yeah, like how long would you, if
Since
you
you
consider us practice partners first off? It's kind of like a label I've used for us for a while, but
Yeah, I mean, well, especially like over quarantine, I was over your. You have a chair in your living room that was that was my chair for a while.
yeah, it was. Jude wouldn't even be here, and B and I would refer to it as, oh yeah, like oh, the cat is on Jude's chair or something.
Yeah, I mean, we've been like we've been friends since you came back to Jersey. So, and that was in what, like 2019 ish? No, not like, yeah, around 2019, I think. And then we would play here and there at your like old apartment, but I don't think we became like really practice partners until probably the last like 6 months of quarantine, because that's when I was starting to start playing again. I was mostly retired for all of Wi-Fi, and then yeah, and then like that continued into like all of 2020. So at this point we don't play as much, but I would definitely still stay with practice partners. Especially
Yeah, I feel like for me it's really easy to throw the phrase around because I actually surprisingly don't play offline Smash very much. Only you, and like you said, you don't even come over super often. But I've always been like a Wi-Fi practicer and stuff like that. So it's been really helpful to have like some offline practice once in a while, especially against someone as good as you. But yeah, I would like it would, I would really love to watch you sit down and play some of these players you haven't played with before, kind of as like oh, y'all don't know the pain of fighting Jakal, you know what I mean? Like I want to see other people experience it because I know it will be very difficult for them.
having you there too, dude. When you guys get going, holy shit! Like just the back and forth is like, it's like fucking painful sometimes. Like you guys go at each other. The trash talk is fucking real chat, is what I gotta say. You gotta get. We get Jakal on the couch at Summit. He starts talking. He's watching characters he doesn't like.
Oh my
God. It's gonna be a good time.
It will be a good time.
Absolutely, man.
Let me and Gavin comment to the light set. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my God. I was thinking Fox and Rob too.
Let's create some merch for it too. Like just like I have like a mug and a hat. #1 Fox hater. Like just clock. I have like a little suitcase, just like clocking in for work.
Yeah, and also as far as like back and forth, I have like just like stories. There was one time where I had gotten to his house around like 4 or 5, and we had finished playing that day at 5 or 6 a.m. and like by the time it was done, like no words, like just
oh
like,
yeah,
game ends, start, like no words for multiple hours. Like it's just, it's just angry.
Well, there's like layers to it. There's like the hey, how's it going? Let's play. You know, laughing, playing a few games. Maybe a little salt starts to appear. You know. The air gets a little, you know, tense.
He recovers with no jump after I hit him out of his barrels from the corner of the screen, and I just LOA start out of the game and unplug my controller.
Yeah, after a few hours, it ends up just being silence, or like, and if there is like shit talk, it's like one word. It's just like just one phrase is like "fuck you."
Like, do you think that's reasonable? Do you think that's
next game?
Yeah, I love when you ask each other like that, like, oh, you think that's cool that Diddy can recover from that far away? Do you think that's cool? It's like,
do you think you're good? Like, do you think you're talented?
Do you think you're good? Yeah,
there's a few situations that are like reappear, right? Like there's patterns, and sometimes it gets to the point where if like one of us does something, it'll be like before the complaint can happen, the other person goes, "Don't say anything." So like. It's like you're just attacking it at the source, and it ends up just being silence.
The big thing was Wolf hurtbox shifting, so when I would like duck under a banana or something, I would don't talk about it. Like,
yeah. especially if something happened previously that was messed up. For like, if I did something like whack, like if you do something, it's like, oh, we're even now. Like, don't say anything. Like you're not allowed to.
Bro, yeah. So speaking of Summit, nominations close tomorrow. If we wanted to look at that, I think you're sitting pretty good because it's 20 players get nominated in, right?
Yeah, I think.
Six, you're 12th right now, sitting around 1,800 noms, which is pretty good.
Noms.
I don't know, but dude, you never know with Summit. And we were saying it before we went
that's
live.
the
I was like,
thing.
well, noms are a little more locked in, or a little harder to. Like, they're a little more solid, right? Like, you hardly see a huge shift in nominations at the last second. Like, people don't hold on to them. You kind of just use them.
It's not just that. The way nominations work, it's like one per Twitter account. So unless you're really dedicated, you aren't.
Yeah,
like you can't spend money on nominations.
right.
So.
Exactly. Yeah, it's more. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's more of a consistent. Like, all right, if you're pretty far in the lead, you're probably going to be fine going into the last day. But looking at this lineup, bro, yeah. Wait, so in the lead though, so currently you're in 12th with 1,800, which is nice. Second place is Yumeki with 4,200, and then third is Asimo, who I also love. Hope he makes it in as well, with just under 4K. But the leader right now is Nader Yu with 8.3K nominations, which is twice as much as the person in second place. Which, for those who don't remember, is the Pichu who took a set off of Cola, right?
Mm-hmm.
From France.
Yeah, at Genesis.
I'm pretty sure there's a couple other wins too.
That is, bro. That's the insane thing about Ultimate summits is EU really shows up like really hard. Like the competition is wild. Japan really seems to be showing up now as well with Yumeki and Asimo in second. Dude, top 5. Only one person from NA is in top 5. It's France in first, 2 from Japan, and then England in fourth. So, man, I'm saying this game is competitive. But then you got Void and Shattuck coming up 6th and 5th. So
yeah, it's especially when it comes down to summit time, a lot of the more like regions that have a harder time getting to any tournaments, stuff like that, they end up showing up like especially like Europe. I mean, it's a continent. Like they're going to show up as a force to get their boy in because I mean like these players have shown that they have the talent. Yeah. So it's just a matter of like getting them the opportunity, and they want that for for their guys. So
yeah, and dude, it is. I hate to say it in commentary where it's like it's all about who wants it more, but in Summit it actually is because it's like who really like truly. It's if you want it more, people will. How hard do you campaign? How much money do people literally give to you for what you're about to put out there, right? And so I feel like it gives. That is one thing I love about Summit is it does give opportunity to those regions who, randomly just want to put someone for not randomly, but without these opportunity, who normally don't have an opportunity like this. Can't give them one like that. So shout out to Summit, man. And I think a big reason why there's been so much interest in it is because they have just been inviting, they've invited Gluto for the last couple summits. They've been inviting more Japanese players, Proto, obviously, Zach Ray before, and Akola as well. Yeah. So
Akola and Proto are this year for this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I kind of wanted to, if y'all have any other questions after me, maybe we could go around the horn. I kind of wanted to ask Jakal about like his journey with Wolf as a character, and because I feel like things have changed like a handful of times over the year for the character, and some of these changes have been pretty dramatic, and Jakal has pretty much played exclusively Wolf for the whole time. So I'd really like for you to just go through your journey with the character, because I feel like I said, I have a lot of Wolf experience myself, and Ultimate's meta obviously shifts a lot. There's a lot of players, there's a lot of characters, and Wolf has shifted around a lot, of course, with that. So I would just like to ask about your journey with Wolf, because obviously I know a lot about it, talking with you and playing Wolf myself. So I feel like it could be an interesting thing for everyone to hear as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, so I think I guess I'll just start with the fact that I think playing Wolf was the best thing I could have done for myself as a player, ever. Because Smash 4 Sonic, I was really good at what he did, and I understood the game I think pretty well, but there's certain things that those kind of characters don't teach you as well, or kind of give you a blind eye to just because out of pure privilege, an invincible spin dash, you sort of get around certain things that other characters wouldn't be able to. But I think I think Wolf, like as a concept, is very based on how good are like you specifically. Because the way I view him has always been well, actually at the start I just thought he was broken. That's why I picked him up. Was I saw you play Cosmos at Frostbite, like the first Ultimate Frostbite, and I was very disillusioned with playing Pichu, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick broken shit and just go with it from here. But especially as the years go on, I realized like Wolf has a tool for everything, but he doesn't excel at a lot of the things that would make the game a lot like easier on the brain, and most except for like damage output. But especially as time goes on, people get better at the matchup, and people get working around his tools. People get better at not getting killed as early, or not getting like opened up by his pressure as easily. So what I had to figure out, especially coming into like 2020, 2021 meta, was how am I going to, one, be able to keep up with DLC characters, and two, how am I going to be able to open up people that are used to, like, that play this character, have been playing against this character in spades for years now. So a lot of it was developing like ways to mix people up without them being able to react, or creating like new ideas to like really confuse people. I guess the biggest example I could give is if you watch me play, a lot of times you see me go for like full hop land like tilts. Wolf's aerials are, except for down air, are all around the same speed. So it's always made parrying really good against him. So the way I had to figure out how to open up people that were like spamming parry a lot or had really fast out of shield options was like getting really, really good at working around their actual shield, like doing drop down tomahawk, like spacing aerials well in the shield, or just like getting really ambiguous mix ups in. And then obviously, like as time goes on, especially his combo game, I've been trying to develop more. But yeah, it's just been a lot of like, I'll either learn a flaw about myself as a player, or I'll see a flaw in the character, and then have to sort of get sometimes really out of the box on how to fix this kind of thing, because it's hard. It's hard. Like I don't have, I can't place blocks. I can't, ram two frame. Like there's a lot that has to sort of be developed conceptually, rather than just like having a straight up answer in the game, having to trick people's like minds and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I just think it's helped really develop me as a talent, and I still believe in the character. So I think he still has a bit of a ways to go before I think he's like fully figured out.
Yeah, I feel like we've had a lot of interesting conversations, like, because it's not like we're always like in the lab talking about how to make Wolf the best he can be, but we'll always have occasional like just little things and just little changes that Wolf can do, or like really diving into a specific move. And I feel like it's really interesting, like having those conversations and then seeing you play it out and figure it out yourself, and or putting your own twist on it. It's similar to a talk I had with Gluto. Gluto and I did like a little Wario discussion with Larry on his stream, and just talking to him about like two people who are experienced with the same character, and like talking things out, and then seeing them put it on the screen, and like diving into weird matchups or weird moves or situations. And like you said, a lot of these people have been playing against Wolf for so many years now that like for better or worse, it's changing a lot of your own decisions as a player, and just changing up your play style. And another thing you said is the most DLC characters that get released are better than everyone else. So it's like you have to work around that. It's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, even like the era of Pocket Wolf, like you mentioned earlier, Tweek, just Wolf has changed so much as a character. And we talked a little bit about it when we had the Genesis episode, because Gluto's Pocket Wolf got like completely washed. It's just like put this thing back in the time machine where it came from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so and I know me and Jakal actually talked pretty recently about like, can solo Wolf do it? In this environment, in this meta, when it all comes down to it, is this character strong enough to survive, right? And I do think Wolf is strong enough to survive in this current meta. You got to work a little hard. You have to start maybe bringing out some of these confirms that are harder to do, the 1 to 2 frame links, trying to set up like falling up air into back airs and stuff like that from your combo game. I don't think you necessarily need it, but at the same time, I do think you need it, just because of how overtuned the other characters you're fighting are, right? So it's like, I mean, you could just be that much better of a player, or you can kind of compensate that gap, or just, that skill gap, wherever it may be, with some of your conversions, right? So that's been a classic thing about Smash, where it's like, oh, well, if I just hit harder than you, I don't need to win neutral as much, right? That's like a very base concept, and there's been players throughout history that have rode that concept throughout multiple games, by the way, right? Whether it be like infiniting you with ice climbers in Brawl, or wobbling you in Melee, like that's always been a thing in Smash, where it's like, what's my return? And I do think Wolf, in my opinion, I actually think Wolf is the hardest spacie to play. It kind of depends on like what your definition of hard is.
It
right?
feels like it's completely like flipped, but
right, because Wolf used to be the cookie cutter, right?
I agree with you. I agree with you, but it's just flipped. It's crazy.
Right. But like, if you think playing fast is really hard, then like Fox, in your perspective, would be the hardest spacie to play. But Fox's base concepts and his base like win conditions are simple. It's just you need to react really well. You need to play very fast, right? Whereas to Wolf, I think Wolf has a lot harder things to do in terms of like one frame links.
It's just
like
more ambiguous and vague too sometimes.
Yeah.
Like it's not as like, it's not in your face for some of the solutions to the problems you'll run into. And I like what you talked about with like pocket characters, because that has changed so much. Well, one, the characters in the game are different, and two, like the characters that were the best pocket picks like just aren't anymore. I feel like pocket picks are actually not as simple as they were in Smash 4.
Definitely not.
Like I've been playing Wario my whole life, but I can't just pick him anymore. I used to be able to do that. I used to be able to just pick him after not practicing, and I could win. Well, now I've been playing him for a couple of weeks, and I'm still nervous going into my next tournament. And I've been playing this character since I was like 12 years old.
Yeah. A lot of that is relative roster size, obviously. And overall, I think maybe more importantly than that is the balance of the game, right? Because before, the traditional pocket character is Pocket Cloud, right? And probably second was Bayo after that, So at a certain point,
were just the best,
yeah, exactly. And the best in this game, like Pocket Pyramithra makes a ton of sense to me. You know what I'm saying? You know what else makes a ton of sense to me is Pocket Game & Watch. And that's because... Excellent. Nice. Pocket Cloud. Yeah. Pocket Game & Watch makes a lot of sense to me for the reasons you just listed. He's easy to play, and he also has a place in the meta. Like, he's not the best character by any means, but he has his specific counter picks that you go into, and he makes those matchups such nightmares that you don't need him to do anything crazy to compete if you're fighting against someone who's around your level, So, yeah, it is. But it used to be, especially in the beginning Ultimate, Pocket Wolf was the thing. Because down smash killed you at 30. You know what I mean? Like, all right, well, he's fucking sick. He's a great character anyway. Laser is broken in the beginning of Ultimate. And also, if I hit you with down smash, you're just dead anyway. Like, it just doesn't matter. But obviously... What's that?
He was glitched.
What, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, so at the start of Ultimate, if you would air dodge and then wolf flash, it had no lag. So
if you land on stage,
yeah. So say for example, right, you were shielding at ledge and versus wolf recovery, which a lot of people do because he has really big hitbox to recover, especially early Ultimate with his old up B. If you would wolf flash into somebody's shield, you would get a guaranteed grab, or if you you could get a guaranteed wolf flash down smash on their shield, or just instant break full shields. So that helped.
Let's play the first version of Ultimate. This sounds hype.
But also,
Shotos suck. I can guarantee shield break with wolf.
That's it. I'm voting for Ashimo.
Just sit back and relax.
I've had enough.
That's it. I've had enough. I know. What did Chuck say? He said, "Nerf can." I hate that. That's what you did. You upset Parker.
Also, about pocket characters, I think a big reason why a lot of people don't find that much success with pockets, or it's just hard for people to pick up pockets, is I think the way they balance characters in this game is one, they're either really mechanically weird, so they're really hard to just play as pockets. Like Pocket Sleeve would be way more common if he made sense to like 99% of the player base, but no one knows how to play him.
He's a different game.
That's a good point. Yeah,
Min as well. Like I think me and Gavin have both separately talked about wanting to have a Pocket Min because she makes certain things a lot easier. But you have to play Special Stick to even play the character. And then, but the thing is, I think the other group of characters, like the more traditional top tiers, there are a lot of like. What makes them strong is a lot of nuance and a lot of like really specific things about them. So you need to fully understand the character and like how they interact in matchups, and just picking somebody out of nowhere like Wolf or Joker or something like that, or even like Wario, like Gavin said, it's really hard if you don't know everything, or if you're rusty, or if you're not playing well that day. So it's just it's it's a lot of work that most people don't have the time for or don't have the energy for.
I feel like it's not even something we're necessarily against, right? Because it kind of makes the game like more beautiful, at least to me. That like a lot of the time people come full circle and they just stick it out with what they love, and the whole like pocket thing. I'm sure the viewers can attest to this too, right? Like I'm sure like sticking it out with your favorite character being the objectively better option currently in Ultimate. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Very not like other Smash games. Let's just put
Yes.
it that way. And I think
We'll word
sure.
it nicely.
For sure,
yeah. And I think what Has brought up earlier too, just Pocket Smash 4 Cloud, one of the big reasons why that was the pocket across any Smash game. I mean, in Brawl there was like Pocket Meta Knight and Ice Climbers too, but like I think Cloud was a character that was so simple. Like you didn't have to learn no chain grabs, you didn't have to like play this character with 5 jumps and godlike neutral. It was just like, oh, do you know how to space backward aerial? Oh, no. I do know how to space backward aerial. Wow, you too can just cover all your bad matchups with the flick of this wrist. You know what I mean? And you just like and you just back air the shit out of people. You reversal up air people. You camp people out with limit. It was so simple, so effective, and so overtuned, right?
It fixed so many things. Yeah. Like,
right. And
remember down air too, like free get at a disadvantage button if they didn't know how to deal with it. Like it was just see ya. Like that's it.
Mewtwo King auto canceling, like the full hop down airs and stuff like that. Like
that's bro. That was the day I knew Cloud was so broken because Mewtwo King goes, I finally found my character in Smash 4. I was like, this motherfucker, he's broken. Like,
gotta be broken. It's gotta be broken, right?
Mewtwo King goes, I love this character.
I just click so well with him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this makes sense. So I was like,
it feels like Melee Marth.
Yes.
On. Like a lot of things like down air and just finishing touch. Like you hit like a random aerial and they died at 30.
yeah. Dude, and you had limit forever, obviously, so we don't need to get into that. But I think kind of getting towards the end of the episode here, I think the final word, it's got to go to Jude. What do you say, Jakal? People want to hear from you. Why should they vote for you? Why should they spend their hard-earned money on you? What do you got to say?
So I think if you want reasons, so that's why I think you should support my Summit campaign. I've been around for a while now. I've been competing since 2015. When I was 14 years old. I've always like been a really like always part of my local scene. Always like sort of try to give back in that way, and then also just like I play a character that only has a few like top reps at this point that a lot of people tend to enjoy watching. In Wolf, I think it's like me, Ouch, Moxie, and like a few of the Japanese wolves. And then I have some fun donation incentives that are up on my Twitter. And yeah, I mean, if you want to watch me play, if you liked hearing me talk today, or just want to support somebody that's been around for a few years now, it would be much appreciated.
Vote for Jude. Vote for Jakal.
Definitely vote for Jakal.
Let's go, Jakal.
You're definitely
Wolf.
Undies Wolf, you deserve more chances to shine. Obviously, you're committed to the community. You play really hard every time you play. You perform very well when you get to tournaments. So I'd love to see you, like Tweek said, I've only seen you play against a handful of players. Let's expand that a little bit. Let's get you up there. That's Absolutely. How I feel.
And Summit's perfect for that. Like in and outside of the bracket event, like it's just Smash for a few days. Like it's a really good experience, and I think it would be great to see you there.
Yeah, and also just being a longtime member of the community, I think a lot of people will hear that statement and kind of brush it off. But honestly, and this is just, coming from all of us that's been to Summit before, right? Like when someone gets on the couch and you know them, it's a lot easier to, find that chemistry and have a lot of good times, a lot of funny times, a lot of serious times with all the different matches going on. So I think there's so much potential when Jakal comes to Summit, just on the couch perspective, on the sticks perspective, right? And also just for Jakal as well, just getting that experience playing all the different friendlies through. I mean, it's essentially like a week-long boot camp as well, right? So there's a ton of extra content that other players and commentators will also be getting as well, and Jude will probably be a part of that. So I think it's just overall a great experience for everyone here and everyone at home. So Jakal for Summit, let's go.
Thank you. Reed.
I think that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching, y'all, and thanks to Jakal for being on the show. Peace out.
Thanks for having me. See ya.